All right, let's get right into it. We're about to jump into a love story that's, get this, nearly 2,500 years old. It's a masterpiece from the legendary poet Kalidasa. And this isn't just any old romance. It's a story that asks a huge question. What happens when a mortal king falls head over heels for a celestial nymph? We're talking about a love that literally pushes the boundaries between heaven and earth.
And yeah, that really is the heart of it all, isn't it? The big question that hangs over this entire epic romance. Can a human's love, our love, become so powerful that it actually forces the divine, unchanging world of the gods to bend its own rules? It's a wild thought. So keep that question in your back pocket as we go through this.
So before we even get to the story, you gotta know the person who wrote it. We're talking about Kalidasa. Now this wasn't just some poet. He was a legend writing during the Gupta period. And you need to know, this era is often called the Golden Age of Sanskrit literature. I mean, this was a time when art and ideas were just exploding in ancient India.
And believe me, Kalidasa was no one-hit wonder. This guy was a literary superstar, a master of pretty much every form you can think of. He wrote these huge, sweeping, epic poems about kings and dynasties, but also these really intimate, personal lyric poems. His range was just staggering. And the play we're diving into today, Vikramorvashiyam, it's right up there with his most famous and celebrated works.
So what makes this play so special? Why is it considered a priceless piece of world literature? Well, it's all about how it masterfully blends two really powerful emotions. Kalidasa takes what's called Shringara Rasa, which is that feeling of romance, of attraction, of love, and he smashes it right up against Karuna Rasa, which is this deep, profound sense of sadness and pathos. It's that constant pull between pure joy and heartbreaking sorrow that makes this story feel so real and so timeless.
All right, so let's get into the story itself. The stage is set, and we're about to see how it all kicks off. This is where our two main characters, a hero king from our world and a celestial dancer from the heavens, are about to meet for the very first time.
But wait, before we meet our heroine, Urvashi, we have to understand what she is. She's an apsara. Now, what's an apsara? Think of a celestial being, a nymph from heaven, famous for just otherworldly beauty, incredible grace in her dance, and artistry that's beyond anything human. The key thing here is, they're not mortal. They live in this timeless divine place. So her even being on Earth, that's a huge deal.
And here it is, the moment that changes everything. Urvashi gets abducted by demons, and who comes to the rescue? None other than the heroic King Pururava. He fights with incredible bravery and saves her. And in that moment, as he's freeing her, their eyes meet. And bam, in that single instant, this undeniable electric connection is forged between the mortal man and the divine woman. You know, the original text puts it so beautifully. It says, "And here the seed of love sprouts." It's not a slow burn, you know? This isn't a will they, won't they. It is an instantaneous, overwhelming force that hits both of them, and there's just no way to ignore it. This one single moment of heroism and beauty is what kicks off their entire, epic, incredible journey. But, and there's always a but, right? Their love, as powerful as it is, immediately runs smack into its greatest obstacle. This isn't just a romance between two people. No, this is a collision of two completely different worlds, and each of those worlds has its own set of unbreakable rules. And this comparison really gets to the core of their problem. I mean, think about it. Pururava's world, our world, is temporary. It's defined by life, death, the ticking of a clock. Urvashi's world, it's timeless, it's divine, it's forever. They are separated by the very nature of what it means to exist. So the huge question becomes, how can a love, no matter how profound, possibly bridge such an impossible gap?
Well, believe it or not, there is a way. Lord Indra, who's the king of the gods, actually sees their love and makes a concession. He allows Urvashi to live on Earth with Pururava. But here's the catch. Their happiness is hanging by a thread. It all depends on one single critical condition. And if that condition is ever broken, their time together is over. Just like that. Instantly.
Now, as you can probably guess, paradise is not meant to last. We're now heading into the tragic turning point of the play. This is the moment where fate steps in, that one single condition gets broken, and everything they've built together just comes crashing down.
And just like that, it's over. The condition, that one single thread holding their two worlds together, it snaps, and in a flash, Urvashi is just gone. She's forced to disappear from the mortal realm, vanishing without a trace, ripped back into heaven, leaving Pururava completely and utterly alone.
What happens next is honestly one of the most powerful depictions of grief you'll ever find in literature. The king is driven to absolute madness. He completely abandons his kingdom, his duties, everything. He just wanders the forests, his mind totally fractured by sorrow. He's talking to the trees, pleading with the rivers, asking the mountains if they've seen his love. This whole section, his lament, it's the raw, emotional heart of the play. It's a look at a love so deep that losing it literally shatters a person's reality.
But even in all that darkness, all that despair, there's a tiny glimmer of hope. The story starts to shift now, heading into its final act. This is where this profound love, which has been tested by divine law and human heartbreak, is about to face its ultimate, final test.
You see, Pururava's grief-stricken cries don't just echo in the forest. They're so powerful, his devotion so absolute, that they actually resonate all the way up into the heavens. The gods themselves, the very beings who created the rules that tore them apart in the first place, they're moved by the sheer power of this human's love. They start to realize, whoa, this isn't just some ordinary affection. This is something else entirely.
And when you look at it, their whole journey really does come full circle, doesn't it? It starts with a chance meeting, which blossoms into this profound love. Then comes the shattering separation. Every single step has been fueled by the sheer intensity of their connection. And now, that very same devotion is what's paving the way for one final, hopeful reunion.
And here it is, love's final victory. Lord Indra, completely moved by Pururava's unwavering devotion, grants a boon, a divine gift that changes everything. He breaks his own rule. He allows Urvashi to return to Earth and stay with Pururava for the rest of his mortal life. Think about that. Their love didn't just challenge the rules of heaven, it actually rewrote them.
So, we end up right back where we started, with a question for you. Kalidasa's story, written 2,500 years ago, suggests that love can be a force so powerful it can transcend even divine law. And that leaves us to wonder, in our own modern, fast-paced, complicated world, what does a love that lasts, an immortal love, what does that truly mean to us today?